I have roots in 2 countries, in Italy and in the United States. I have roots on this planet, and I feel deeply connected to nature, and I love it. Some might call me a tree hugger, but I don't really hug trees. It goes more like this. Put your hands delicately on a trunk. Feel the temperature. Feel the texture of the bark. You might not get much energy first, but if you couple what we know, trees breathe, right? And you imagine the lymph flowing, after a while, skepticism gives way to something quite powerful and regenerating. In fact, when we're in forests, chemicals named phytocyanides pour upon us. They balance our immune systems. They balance our entire well-being. I'm rooted in the communities that have shaped me and that continue to forge new relations. In fact, in our communities, in our places, we are tribal by nature. We strive to evolve. But when we pan out, the picture gets messy. Collectively, we forget when we're one big family. We forget we share this home. But we have a tool embedded in us that allows us to feel with others. That tool is empathy. And while it's easy to get lost in what we know, for example, in the span of my lifetime, the human population has more than doubled, and we've lost 50,000 species, it's difficult to ignore how we feel. So please allow yourself to feel while I ask you to come with me on a journey to the Mergui Archipelago, 800 islands largely unexplored in the Andaman Sea, off the southern coast of Myanmar near Thailand. The indigenous people, Mokans, are sea gypsies. Only about 2,000 individuals survive today. Their lifestyle, nomadic lifestyle, is based on trade, and it's threatened by meager catches and by their uncertain legal status, so that when they encounter police on the water, they can't prove where they were born. So they're taken to land, they're given identity cards, and they're forced to settle, which for a nomad equals prison. We were told during a trip, which was a sailing expedition, it was unlikely that we would encounter these people. So when we saw this flotilla, we were very happy. The next day, we approached this island, and while we were drawn by the houses on stilts, we rather questioned that large cement structure. But there was not enough time to dwell because these children were rowing towards us on their little cabangs, their traditional log boats. Moken children learn to swim before they walk. In fact, the name of these people means immersed in water. And in their natural element, underwater, they have exceptional eyesight. Anna Giselin from the University of Lund, Sweden, studied this remarkable trait, and she found that in their natural element, they see twice as well as Western children, because they can shrink their pupils more than any other known human ethnicity and shape the lens in a way similar to seals and dolphins. So they are basically, the Mokans, people who live most intimately with the oceans. And you might have heard about them because in December 2004, they escaped the tsunami. They predicted it. The wave that devastated coastal communities in 12 countries and took an estimated 230,000 lives. Because generation after generation for centuries, they kept a story going about the seventh wave, or laboon. According to the legend, a wave that would sweep away all evil and make room for new life. Along with the prophecy came the knowledge. How to detect signs of the laboon through wave patterns, and how to seek harbor by escaping to the mountains or deep in water. So when young boys saw the tide pull away all of a sudden, they ran to tell the elders. Only their villages were destroyed. The population survived, and their story went around the world. What I didn't know at the time was that after the tragedy, many Mokans were forced to settle away from the water, inland. They were joined in large communities without ever having shared living grounds before. Their home was the ocean. They were given modern facilities such as running water, sewage systems, electricity that they didn't know how to manage. While we know everything about what foods are good for us, we eat seeds and wild berries, which we call superfoods, they were put on fast food. As their diets shifted to saturated sugars and fats, they developed diseases they knew nothing about. So with the purpose of protecting them, centuries of traditions were erased in a matter of months. Building techniques and daily rituals, how to harvest for food. So, is this progress? Well, let's go and see together. These children greeting us are graceful and beautiful. These are the kids that see like dolphins. We approach the island, treading softly, entering the protected sanctuary, and there's no Westerners in sight. We're in a prime traveler's experience. And this is what we see. Now, what does a Moken village look like from the inside? It looks like that. How long does it take you to see the plastic? Can you count it? Because our brains don't want to go there. We move onto the island and we're attracted by a rainbow of colors in a little shop. And we approach it full of expectations, handicrafts made of seed or bark. But when we pop our heads in, this is what we see. The cascade of colors is all made of plastic. Monodoses of candy, toys. Joy gives way to a million questions about the consequences. The hut is quiet. Children, which you can see there, are staring up at a muted TV set. The candy in their shop is advertised on television. All they have to do is reach up and grab it. And those crunchy, colorful wrappers slip out of their hands as they unveil sweet, saturated flavors. The garbage is everywhere. It's on the path. It's in the water. Nobody told these people that plastic doesn't go away. Nobody told them that it's one of nature's biggest enemies. So, is this progress? We can think, no, and we're doomed. Or we can think, this isn't progress, but I know what progress is. We see it every day. We're exploring space deeper and deeper. We're editing DNA. We're designing artificial leaves. So, how can we deal with this? If we look at it collectively, we think there's just no way out. But let's shift perspective for a moment. Let's break things down and bring them to a human level. And let's stick to plastic for a moment. There are many people who are taking plastic to big concern. We just heard a wonderful story earlier. Or what about Boyan Slat, a 19-year-old at the time who thought, let's design nets to collect plastic from the oceans. Well, his idea and his organization, Ocean Cleanup, is making way quite well and quite rapidly. Of course, that can only be one piece of the puzzle. Or what about the biggest online platform for petitions called Avaz? A community 44 million people strong. They have just put out a new campaign to push countries to ban mono-use plastics. Because 100 million bottles of plastic are thrown away every day. It's a big number, more than we can fathom, more than all the recycling centers in the world could deal with. So that could be another piece of the puzzle. What about Federica Bertocchini, the Italian researcher who made headlines all over the world with her serendipitous discovery of plastic-eating worms? A worm that, by the way, we used, as long as we know, as bait to fish. All of a sudden, we're discovering that it has an enzyme that can digest polyethylene. That is huge. What a revolution for that creature to pull a 360 like that. So we need to string together many solutions to our big problems, unlike last century where we had one big solution for many, many things, which was oil. We can no longer seek one solution for each problem. And we need to fuel our hope. And these great ideas, I don't know about you, but they give me a lot of hope. My seed of hope on this journey was when we visited this mangrove. Pristine and pure, nothing man-made in sight. We were told that it was protected by an Italian organization, Oikos, dedicated to protecting natural environments and promoting sustainable development. Thank you very much. And when I got home, I found organizations who have taken the Mogans to heart, so maybe there is hope that their heritage might survive. It's complicated. But unlike the Mohicans, we can choose. We can buy local food sourced by community systems. We can buy clothes from responsible chains. We can recycle everything and use our imagination and make new things. We can filter our water and free ourselves from plastic. We have an infinite host of solutions. Of course, again, that we need to combine. And why would you say it's relevant to scale this? Well, wouldn't we rather export models of progress that we're proud of? Unlike what we did to the poor Mohicans, where we sent them a model of progress that's half a century outdated when disposable goods and fast food were the big new thing. Or isn't it important to scale best practices from one city to the other? In my home in Milan, we recycle everything. 53% of the total household waste becomes something new. It's regenerated. My other home, New York, one of the most advanced cities in the world, ships out every day 12,000 tons of waste, of garbage. And only 17% gets recycled. So where do we go from here? We don't like being told what to do or how to do things, though I rather enjoy it, and I have to watch myself because I sometimes turn lights off in people's homes or close the faucet when it's running too much. Fortunately, my friends and family don't think I'm a freak, at least not too much, and they forgive me. But collectively, we don't like being told what to do. So remember empathy, that tool that we have? Our brains are wired that way. Well, it's what you feel, for example, when you see Usain Bolt reaching the finish line, that surge of emotions where you're taking part of his victory. Well, let's practice a moment of empathy together. Would you love diving in that fresh, clear blue water right now? Feel it just rise. Feel that pleasure take you over. And hold on to that pleasure for a moment while I ask you to come with me on another journey. Let's imagine going back to that Mohican village together in this sense of belonging. Who would you like to take with you? Who would you like to help the Mohican people clean up and understand what trash is? Researchers or anthropologists who would like to learn from the Mohicans how to seek refuge, how to escape a tsunami? Or inspired corporations who would like to ship nutritious foods in biodegradable packages there? Feel the power of this human technology at work, which we still have not learned to use at its full potential, coupling information, imagination, heart, a lot of heart, creativity. Imagine putting all the intelligence at work in our ecosystems, which again we don't know enough about. Thank you, Stefano Mancuso, for finally saying that plants are intelligent. And please go and seek contact with trees. So could we conclude that progress is keeping an eye to where we come from, honoring our home, while looking forward? Because if we don't keep this double perspective, we risk getting so enamored with all these technologies that we're inventing so fast that we might forget who we are. Thank you.